What's up, you guys? This is Devin from CenturyFX Studios, and we're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Canon T8I. Now, before we start, I want to say that I'm not sponsored by Canon. We all know this, guys. I'm not sponsored by any camera company. So with that being said, this is not like a biased review for the T8I or upcoming thoughts for the T8I biased with Canons. No, it's what I literally think based off of my 10 years of shooting with Canon cameras. And with that being said, I know I got some Wolverine action, guys. You guys are going to have to forgive me for that too. But with that being said, let's get right into it. Okay, so the T8I, the reason I bring this camera up is because back in the day, the T1I was one of the first DSLRs, small form, small size DSLR, beginner DSLR, whatever you want to call it, with video, 1080p video. And it came out with the nuanced Canon 5D Mark II, which was one of the best 1080p Full HD videos of the time. Period. Full frame video, anything that you needed. You could shoot commercials, full length videos with it. It was the camera of the times. It was one of the best cameras ever known to man. Even to this day, it's still hard to rival with the video quality. Now, with that being said, the T8I, I think, should be that new small form beginner camera to dip into 4K. And the reason I say this is because Canon has not done 4K with any of their smaller form cameras, not the 80D, not the 60D, 70D, 80D, or I just said that, but you got the 70 Mark 1, 2, 3, probably the 70 Mark 3 that hasn't came out, but you know it's coming out pretty soon. It's not probably going to have 4K. It's not a video-centric camera, but all of the small form DSLRs for Canon do not have 4K. And the reason 4K on a DSLR is so important, along with mirrorless cameras, is because the bigger sensor. The reason the 5D Mark II and the T1I were so good at what they did with the video is because they had bigger sensors that catered to that 1080p video. So this made people think, oh, well, maybe we should start to put video in DSLRs more often because this shallowed up the field and all of these other traits that the full frame sensor has, or the bigger sensors have in the smaller form camera, the T1I. They really make video shine. So with that being said, whatever technology we have in here, we're going to keep going, make better, and make more people buy it. So I think the T8I should actually have a 4K or 2K sensor, something bigger than what they already have. Like, what haven't they done with video at the 1080p level that they haven't already done? They've already done 120 frames a second on one of their cameras. One of them gotta have it by now. If they don't, it's a shame. But they've already done 60 frames a second. They've already done 24 frames a second. They've already done 30 frames a second on 1080p. They've already amplified 1080p to its max. I mean, what else can they put in that 1080p frame that they haven't already, you know, to make the video better? I mean, the 5D Mark II, which came out almost, 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago, it was already a beast, and you're still doing 1080p after 9 years, you know, as your maximum resolution for some of the cameras that we buy and we invest some of the most money into as one of the biggest and most popular camera companies in the world right now. So with that being said, I think the T8I should have that. I think the T8I also should have manual video function, some kind of manual video functions. I know the T1I never did. Now, if the T4I, 5I, 6I, 7I have that, then just continue what you've been doing, Canon. But I haven't been diving into the smaller form cameras because the way they fit in my hands. So with that being said, the T8I is supposed to be the catalyst. I want to see it with at least 2K video. Like, even if Canon can't do it on a big 4K level, because I know there's some hindrances in making 4K video with DSLRs. We've learned that with the 1DX Mark II and the 5D Mark IV, you know, with the motion JPEG. If there's some hindrances in motion JPEG for the SD card slot that you guys have, just make it 2K, you know, and do something a little bit less with the camera, if you know what I mean. Like, baby steps, you know, you can do 2K, then you can do 4K, and then you can do downsampled 4K, you know, for your other small end cameras. Or you can go to mirrorless and do something totally different. I don't know, Canon, but just, I think it's time for a change, and I think the T8I should be the smaller form camera that promotes that change. Now, along with the T8I, I think that maybe there's a 1DX Mark III or a 1DC Mark II, because if any of you guys remember what the 1DC was, it was a cinema camera that was a hybrid DSLR but made for video mostly. But it could also shoot really good stills like the 1DX. It's like the 1DX's twin brother that nobody knew about. He was infamous, but he was one of the first 4K video cameras that Canon ever made. So with that being said, the T8I should just be the catalyst. Everybody with a smaller form camera now should have a flip rotating screen, at least a 12 to 24 megapixel sensor, maybe even 16 megapixels, so you can have better dynamic range on smaller end cameras, and cater the whole line to a little bit more video, because we've already mastered stills. Like the 5D Mark IV is a master of stills. Like, I've taken some of the best images that I've ever taken with the 5D Mark IV, and the video side is just non-existent. So if we could be what the 5D Mark IV was supposed to be in the smaller end cameras, when you come out with the T8i, that would be perfect. Like a 4K camera that is decent at video, like really good at video, equally as good at video as it is in pictures, we'd be great. Now, Canon's not going to give us that. That's like curing one of the world's worst diseases, right? If you have people, who are investing in your drug or investing in your medicine, why would you make a cure, right? So with that being said, that's some food for thought. You don't want to always want the best of all, camera. You can have one camera that's good for video. You can have one camera that's good for pictures. But then again, you have to switch lenses and do all this inconvenient stuff with more than one camera. So that is dangerous. You could lose your stuff. So think about all of that when you're thinking about the new camera that Canon's about to make. And with that being said, that's my thoughts on the T8i and where its direction should go. Just video. The pictures are fine. You don't have to, because you're going to have a higher dynamic range. I mean, you can bring it up just a little bit to match Nikon's, but it's not worth it. Not for the smaller series cameras. Now, for the 7D and the 5D and the 1DX, you can try your best with those, but the smaller cameras, you don't have to try your best. I mean, there's smaller cameras for a reason. You have to have some kind of catalyst for people to want to buy the bigger camera. So I'm trying to be reasonable here in the business aspect. You have to be reasonable. You can't just have the best thing in just the smallest camera and then sell that camera, because then you have to be forced to make something better, and what if the technology is not there? Because if you make the best in the smallest camera, people on the bigger camera side, like the 1DXs, are going to be mad. They're like, I bought this 1DX and you put everything in a smaller form camera that costs half the price. They're going to be mad. People who know about what happened with the 7D Mark II versus the 1DX know exactly what I'm talking about. But with that being said, my name is Devin from CenturyFX Studios, and I'll see you guys later.